Yay! Good morning. I'm back. Welcome back. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our daily get together live here on Facebook every single day of the week, except for the last 3 days, in which I took a little holiday hiatus, and I had a wonderful time. I'll tell you about it in a second, but here we are. Here we are again, live. I missed being live. I missed being here every morning. Oh, but I'm so happy to be home with Luna and so happy to be here with you to share headlines, comments. Luna, you're off. There you go. That's better. To share comments, headlines, ideas, suggestions, tips, and all kinds of information. Headlines, of course, about what's going on in our wonderful Puerto Vallarta and how to best take advantage of our surroundings as a community of English-speaking locals. It is always a pleasure to get together with everyone every morning here on Facebook Live. And it is a pleasure to welcome new friends every time we come on the broadcast. There's always at least one person that writes the word new in your comments. So if you'd like to let us know that you're new, just write the word new in your comments and we'll be so very happy to give you a good welcome. And also, if you have any important questions that you would like to address during the broadcast or shortly thereafter, I am so very happy to do so, and it helps us a lot if you add the letter Q to your comments. It's great to be back. It's great to be here. It's great to be home. It was great to get away for a couple of days, but it's great to be home. I think I've looked at all your comments from the past 3 or 4 days. I hope you survived the 3 pre-recorded segments, and I hope you were not completely bored. But Luna's happy that I'm back. She did a lot of meowing yesterday, and of course, yes, I want to play with you too. 3 or 4 times during the night, she started meowing because the house is completely dark, and she's like, "Are you really back, or am I just dreaming this?" So I spent a lot of time awake tonight, just cuddling with Luna. She's a cuddler, so she would come up in bed and lie next to me, and so we're here. We're here. I don't want to draw too much attention to myself, but it's great to be back. It's great to be back with news. I am going to share what I have found that was interesting over the past couple of days. I think some of the things I may talk about, you may already know about. So kindly just slap me and just write move on in your comment or something. That way we're going to be all on the same page. Let me take a quick look at your welcomes this morning, and I will get going with the news in a second. Thank you very much, Jill. Yes, I'll be putting together all kinds of photos and videos and stories. Absolutely. Boston's in the house. It's great to see you, David. Let's see. Trucha says, happy 420. Trucha, I say, you have no idea. Oh, it was a good weekend. No, it wasn't even a weekend. It was a good Monday through Wednesday. That's what it was. Veronica, it's great to see you. And Chile, Toronto is in the house. Thank you very much for that, Michal. I'm so very glad that you enjoyed the tours. I hope the singing of the posada didn't draw you into festive mode, or I don't know. We just had to sing. I was so very happy to hang out with my dear friend Juan Pablo and just have some creative fun. Vacation was awesome. I took turtle class. Well, I'll give you the blow by blow when we get to the leisure part of the show. If this question is for me, Sherry, I'm sorry to disappoint. I did not get any snow, but I drank a Coco Loco. It was wonderful. Um, let's see. Let's see. Oh, you have no idea, Michael. Juan Pablo is the sweetest human being you could ever meet in this town. Again, he is such a talented soul, and he sings and he dances and he's creative and he has a theater company. Right, Luna? What do you say? You just say yes and keep paying attention. Yes. Yes, yes. Let's see. The posada story with my friend was priceless. Well, I wanted to get you in on the holiday spirit Mexican style, given the fact that we're not even going to be able to sing posadas that way. It's just one of those things. Michael, I am so looking forward to trying your new dishes. Yum, yum, yum. Okay, okay, okay. Lots of good mornings. It's great to see you. Ay, papacito, vamos por el pan, Carlitos. Mwah! It's great to see you all. It's great to see you all. It's great to be back and be in a routine. Uh, okay. Oh, you thought that was for David? Okay, no, yeah, no, there was no snow in the South Shore, Sherry. But anyhow, let us get started with the news, and then once we get to the leisurely part of the program, I can tell you a little bit more about the getaway because I feel that this may not be as important to everybody. I want to make sure that we are all on the same page as far as the important stuff is concerned. Let's go there. So I was putting together my suitcase on Sunday afternoon, and of course, it was it was the time in which our governor did make his latest numbers public on Facebook, and he wrote that the hospital cases were a little higher than they had been before. We have this news note from December 13th, which was over the weekend, that shows that four Jalisco hospitals are saturated. And the governor did get a fair amount of criticism over this, but excuse me, too much laughing. Governor Alfaro did come and address the state live on Facebook, saying that yes, the state is concerned about the rise on hospital beds, and he received a fair amount of criticism about this. But it is important to remember something in case you start getting a little bit weary about hospital bed occupancy. Number one, the hospital bed occupancy, the shortage or lack of thereof in hospital beds is not happening in Puerto Vallarta. It's happening elsewhere in the state. In fact, Puerto Vallarta is doing extremely well as far as I can tell. Secondly, and this is very important, the governor did say this, that all the people that are criticizing what's going on in Jalisco failed to take into account that Jalisco was the only state in the country that enforced an emergency button. And the reason why it was enforced at the time seemed to make a lot of sense to me, and I think I explained it as such, and it probably didn't make a lot of sense to other people, but it was a preventive measure, really. I mean, I think the governor anticipated that December would be a tricky month in terms of cases going up, but also December is a very important month in when it comes to economy. So doing the emergency button when it was done allows us to move a little further into the month, being able to reactivate economy. And yes, the hospital numbers are going high, but not desperately high. In fact, he says that Alfaro says that the global occupancy or capacity, I'm going to say capacity, in hospitals in the state is 30%. And in 3 weeks, it has only increased 7%. And this is the whole state average. So it is a good thing that we had the emergency button when we did. And it is quite possible that had we not had the emergency button, then we would be in a very bad place, just as some states in Mexico are in a very bad place right now. So much so that our president, Andrés Manuel López Obrador, has addressed the nation. This is back On Monday, this happened. Our president addressed the nation asking people to please stay home between the 14th and the 24th, which is when a lot of people are out and about shopping and getting ready for the holidays, which we're not supposed to be celebrating. So the president did come forth and mention this to the nation. He said, it is important that we take care of ourselves. We're not going to forbid you from going out, but these are 10 days that it is really important you stay home. This came from the president, not from his scientific staff. We haven't heard anything from López to this effect. So I think it was more of a personal plea from AMLO so that things don't get so bad during what's left of the month. We also learned from Andrés, from Hugo López Gatell, this is yesterday's news, that vaccination against COVID-19 will indeed begin towards the end of the month. Well, we're already on the second half of the month, but it is expected that the first phase of vaccination will begin this coming week, according to him. 250,000 doses of the Pfizer vaccine have been requested, and it takes 8 days to prepare these vaccines. So this is going to happen beginning next week. Let's see, what else do we have here? Well, we have another part of the message from Hugo López Gatell saying that the health personnel in the country is truly exhausted, and we can certainly see why, because the health personnel in Mexico, and I'm sure elsewhere in the world, have been going at it nonstop since the beginning of the pandemic. We also learned that as of December 15th, the availability, the beds, the hospital beds that are being used in the country are at 43%. And 43% and 38% of beds with ventilators are being used. So there seem to be, in the average, a fair amount of hospital beds throughout the country, just in case people are getting concerned about the high numbers. Let me take a quick look at your initial comments before we move on. I see a new person. Hello, Bobby Smith. Hello, welcome from wherever you are. It is great to see you, and it is great to welcome you to Coffee and Headlines. May you find useful and inspiring information here. May you also find a smile or two. We do try to keep things funny because we like laughing. We like laughter. Let's see. I'm sorry to disappoint you, Christopher. The lady of the house, well, let us just say that it is Luna. Although, if you want to get technical, there are more than one ladies of the house here. Oh gosh, I amused myself. How sad is that? Let's see. Boom, ba-dum, bum, bim, bum, 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 bum. Luna is beautiful. We've been there. How did you get to Tewa on your visit to my? Oh, did I get to Tewa? Yes. Everybody had oysters, but me. Oysters, I don't have to have oysters. But it was yes, it was great, and I did a little bit of video in Tehuamixle. I will share that pretty soon. Let's see. Question: where is the closest snow? From Puerto Vallarta, I would think that would be El Nevado de Colima, which is a volcano in the state of Colima that would be 5 hours south. Although, if you were to drive to some of the mountain towns in Guadalajara, like Mazamitla and stuff, I wonder if they have snow right now. But I do think that the closest snow would be in Colima, the volcano. Let's see. What else do we have? Copper Canyon with snow. I saw that too, and I felt like I really want to go. Copper Canyon continues to be one of my bucket list favorites. And let's see what else we have. I am caught up with you, so please let me continue with some of these headlines. And the next headline that I have is enforces some of the things that we're talking about. Puerto Vallarta is one of the tourism destination in Mexico with the least number of cases of COVID-19. The only place that has less cases than us, according to this news item, is Bahia de Banderas, just north of us. They have less confirmed cases than we do. Um, According to this list, the worst tourism destination has been Acapulco with 1,764 total cases, followed by Cancun, and then Los Cabos and Mazatlan are also doing worse than we are. Cancun has had 1,248 deaths from coronavirus. Acapulco has had 1,216, whereas Puerto Vallarta has only had 299. Of course, every one of those 299 people is important, but it is somewhat comforting that of all the tourism destinations, we seem to be faring okay. This was a sneaky piece of news of something that happened back in November, and I wonder if you heard anything about this because it was kept rather hush hush here. Apparently, back in November, three tourists hopped on a plane going back to Puerto Vallarta, going back to Canada, and they went through all the procedures leaving the country, and somehow when they got to Canada, they tested positive for COVID. So this made the government of Canada grumble, and this made the local authorities, kind of not talk about it and put it under the rug, as it usually happens. The director of beach tourism, Susana Rodriguez Mejia, argued that we have strict sanitary filters in our airport, and she speculated that they may not have had symptoms. So this makes me wonder if it is the airport's responsibility to test or if it's the airline's responsibility to test. All we know is that some people arrived in Canada and they tested positive for COVID-19. The last thing I would have wanted, or the last place I would have wanted to be, would have been that plane. And let me come back to my big face before we move into the leisurely stuff and see if you have any other comments. You don't. So let us jump over to the weather and continue along. It is 23 degrees. We haven't been 23 degrees, although I did feel it was really chilly overnight. It feels like 24. Humidity is at 51%. No humidity right now. Well, 51% is super, super low. Fahrenheit equivalent is 74 degrees right now. And the weather forecast for today is clear throughout the day with a high of 27, low 18. Tomorrow, it'll be partly cloudy through the day, high of 28, low 18. And then clear throughout the day on Saturday, high of 28, low of 17. So it's going to get a little chillier on Saturday. But overall, these look like wonderful Christmassy or holiday temperatures that I very, very much enjoy while we're down here. Moving right along, and I'm so happy to see you, Clay, because I'm going to address something that you mentioned on, I think it was Saturday that I made a little comment, but I'll get to that in a second. Hanukkah ends on Friday at sundown. I thought it was tomorrow, but it's good to know. We have the last candles to light tonight and tomorrow, and I can take down my menorah. Thank you very much for reminding me. So we'll keep the menorah up tonight and tomorrow night. And then with all due respect, we'll transform, we'll do some decorating, and we'll have some holiday decorations as well. Okay, so moving right along, what else do we have here? We have the fact, I actually got this all the way through the weekend, and I thought it was important enough to share. And this would be the fact that the airport will be expanded here in Puerto Vallarta despite the crisis. This was confirmed by international airport authorities that say that they're going to use a 1,000 million peso budget, and they're going to have a second terminal in the airport, which will allow for a total of 8 planes to be able to land at the same time, and it will add 15 additional gates for people to arrive. And these new expansions uh, will be completed rather on 2024. They won't be started for another 2 years, but it is good to know that I suppose the funding for this has been secured. So this is something that we can all be very happy about. This you may already be aware of, but this is news to me. If you're wondering why the street is closed, the Juarez Street is closed in downtown Puerto Vallarta. This is because it's being improved because apparently they found some sinking and some damage in parts of the city. So CEAPAL, which is a company that controls our water, they're going to do some improvements throughout the week. The street is going to be closed, and it should be back to us by Monday, December 21st. So traffic going into town might be a little funny. If you need to go into Emiliano Zapata or anywhere south of Rio Cuala, you may want to consider taking the Libramiento instead. An interesting development has happened with whale watching season. It started officially over a week ago, but because of some government glitch, the actual permits to go and watch the whales have not arrived, which led a bunch of local providers, tour providers, thinking, well, I mean, we don't have the permits, but we know the season has started. So they said, we are going to go. I mean, what do you expect for us not to go because the government made a mistake? So in case you're wondering, because it is important when you go on a turtle, not a turtle, I just came back from turtles. When you go on a whale watching vessel, it is important to double check whether they are authorized to go or not. So what we're learning here is that the season has started, the vessels are authorized, but they haven't received their sticker. So it is quite possible that if you go whale watching this week, you may end up going in a vessel that is not officially sanctioned. All I can say is, ni modo. You know, it's one of those things in which, for whatever reason, the permits haven't arrived, but everything seems to indicate that providers are doing whale watching tours, and they are truly, truly worth doing because it's a spectacular thing to enjoy up close, but carefully distant from the whales, that is. In this other news item, we learned that Puerto Vallarta had almost a 40% occupation out of an available occupancy, not occupation, occupancy out of an available 50%. And of course, we remember that for the rest of the month, hotels can have up to 75% occupancy. And all we can say is let's hope that the hotels fare well and do well during the rest of the month. And let us also hope that whoever graces us with their visit continues to do so in a responsible manner. And now here is the comment that I mentioned in passing on Saturday about I mentioned something about the markets, and then I decided not to talk about it. And essentially, what was going on, let me just sneak in a little cough. Mwah. Okay, I'm back. It's not so much that I have bad news about the farmers markets. It's just that I have been having a lot of conversations with friends about the legality of the markets. Let me give you some context. We know that Mexico is a country where informal business is a much higher number than formal business. So the number of people that just work and get paid directly, that don't pay taxes, that don't have Social Security and so forth and so on, is much higher, than the number of people that do things by law or by the book. The conversation started a few days ago when somebody said to me, well, here we are trying to open our restaurants and operate our restaurants and do it by the law and so forth and so on. And this was a restaurant owner that told me this. And he said, I wonder how those people that serve food at the farmers markets fare. Now, I know that when the Old Town Farmers Market used to be in place as designed by Charlotte a few years ago, all the vendors needed to have paperwork, tax paperwork, and so forth and so on, and be in good standing with their taxes. I don't know if that's the case with the vendors right now. And honestly, I don't know that it bothers me. I am mindful of the fact that some people that are registered by law to sell and buy and otherwise conduct business, we have to pay taxes. But I'm also, um, oh my God, you keep correcting me about my occupation and my occupancy. How's your Spanish, Kelsey? I'm sorry. I make my mistakes. I make my mistakes. But Kelsey, how's your Spanish, baby? Tell me all about it. Anyhow, markets. I'm just saying that the only thing that I was saying about the markets is that there are some people that are doing things by law, and there are some people that are not doing things by law. I personally cannot vouch for some of the things that are sold at the market. I don't know where they were cooked, and I choose to let that not make me uneasy. So the only thing that we were talking about as far as markets are concerned is the fact that I hope that those people that sell in farmers markets have their papers in order and are doing so like the rest of us, that they're paying taxes and so forth and so on. Let me take a quick look at your comments because we're running out of headlines. Um, and it is 10:57. If you really want to hear details about my vacation before I put together a video, please write the word vacation and I'll be happy to give you a little bit of the blow by blow. Otherwise, I will be doing some editing in the next few days. Let's see. Um, we've read that. We've read that. We've read that. Yes, we are very fortunate, Brian. I think we get a little bit edgy when we see things that are not right. And when we see certain businesses open at times where they shouldn't be, or letting people walk in without face masks, yes, it is difficult not to feel edgy when we see this with our own eyes. But it is good to see that in the big picture, our city is faring much better than other cities in our state. Let's see. Let's see. Da, 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 da. If this question has anything to do with what I mentioned about that flight, I actually don't have any information as to whether it was a direct or a connecting flight. All I know is that some people boarded here, and when they arrived in Canada, they tested positive for COVID. Um, let's see. Let's see. Uh, let's see. Will the vaccine be available to persons who spend winters here on a tourist visa? I don't know, Donna. This question is becoming increasingly popular. Um, we'll have to wait and see. As soon as we have information to that effect, um, we will definitely look into that. Although Paul says no, only temporal and permanent residents will be able to get their vaccine. Um, oh my God, that's a very good point. Imagine how many people would flock here just to get a vaccine before they're eligible in the U.S. Ooh. Let's see. Really? You really think that walking through Costco with my camera would be an interesting thing? Although I should say, somebody made a comment. Somebody on the group that I was traveling with over the last 3 days made a comment that Costco in the United States is absolutely chaotic, and that going to Costco here, when it comes to the logistics and the way people are behaving and so forth and so on, it's a luxurious experience. I don't know if you can confirm or deny that, but hey, if you think it would be fun to walk through Costco, I can certainly try to smuggle my camera, although I know they don't let you film. But good thing is that my 360-degree camera is subtle enough that I think I would be able to whip it out. The camera, that is. Let's see. Let's see. Burst some bubbles. Well, again, Clay, it's not so much about bursting. I mean, I have a friend who started cooking, and I have no idea what his kitchen looks like. And I know it's a matter of time before he says to me, "Well, why don't you promote my cooking in your show?" And that makes me feel uneasy because I would feel very uncomfortable promoting something here or encouraging you to try something here that I haven't tried myself. So that's part of the reason why I become a little edgy or uneasy about the whole markets thing. But it would be hypercritical, I think, on my part to condemn people that don't have papers at those markets when I live in a country where the majority of people work illegally. And what I mean by illegally is by not being registered with our IRS equivalent. Um, Sorry, what was this about? I'm flying on WestJet tomorrow. Brian, we have a rewind button that doesn't work. When the broadcast is over, you're welcome to go back and see what that was about. Let's see. Kelsey. Da, 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 da. Let's see what else. Numbers. I have had a lot of children and mothers coming by restaurant the past week selling chingaderas and asking to offer them to my customers. I, of course, say yes. That's very nice of you, Sean. People need to eat. People need to eat. Oh, there's a lot of people saying vacation. Okay, I will talk about vacation in a second. Let me just get past how many more headlines do I have? Two quick headlines, and then for those of you who don't want to hear about vacation, that's perfectly okay. Let's see. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum. Um, there's a Costco here, not chaotic at all, nice people. Do I need a tourist visa to visit from February to end of March? Karen, I think you need to check with the Mexican consulate or with somebody from here from the community. I think you need to get a tourist visa to come to Mexico. I actually think you do. All visitors require a tourist visa, if not a resident. There you have it. Jorge asks, do I think that the vaccine will be part of the bribery system where people can pay to get it higher? I honestly think the number of people that will be able to do that will be much lower than in past years, given the fact that our president is insisting on running a corruption-free government. I don't think it will be a big issue. But I could be wrong. I just choose to trust the system because it's the only system we have. Let's see what else. Dun, 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 dun. Any show recommendations for January? What? Oh, you mean like live shows? Oh, who knows? Who knows? It's still December. I couldn't tell you, Bobby, but I'm sure you'll find the town plastered with posters. And what has happened with this community, Bobby, is that most of the people that watch Coffee and Headlines are just not interested in shows. You must be a tourist. Are you a tourist, Bobby? Because if you're a tourist, then you are in a show that is for locals, which is fine. But we found through past polls that people here are just not that interested in going to shows. Hopefully, we'll change that. Let's see. So is mine, Alan. So is mine. Let me give you the last two headlines that I have, and then we can move on to a little bit about the trip. I have two headlines. One of them is another list of best movies of the year. This one comes from our trusted Vox. So you're more than welcome to go through what Vox calls the 25 greatest films from an unforgettable year. The very first one I'm going to show, which I believe is the 25th, is Bill and Ted Face the Music. You can continue down the list on your own time. I'm going to take a look at it, and maybe tomorrow we can talk about how many of these films we have actually watched. And of course, today is the day in which Ludwig van Beethoven was baptized. We know he was born in December. We don't know the exact date in which he was born, but we know that he was christened on December 17th. So thanks to the New York Times, we have a whole series of bookmarks and websites where we can just have a huge Beethoven bath through the day. if you'd like to do that on your own time. And of course, as always, I will leave all these show notes with you after the broadcast is over. So, where did I go? Where did I go? I went to Maito. I went to Maito. Okay, first of all, we did some research. Maito has ma, and then it has a y, and then it has to. So we were really curious about where people put the accent on a word. The y sounds like an I, so it could actually be a diphthong, as in maito. But no, locals seem to call it maito, and there's the accent seems to be on the a, and that's what we learned over the weekend. So I went to Maito with some friends, and Maito is about 2 hours south of Puerto Vallarta. You drive first to Boca de Tomatlan. I mean to El Tubito, which is the head of the municipality of Cabo Corrientes, which is south of Puerto Vallarta. Then you head back down to the coast. There are actually three small towns that are connected or that are really close to one another. One is Maito, the second one is Tehuamixle, and the third one is Villa del Mar. They are all three unique towns, slightly different. We didn't make it to Villa del Mar this time, but we went to Maito, where there's a beautiful hotel called Hotel Maito, and it's right next to the ocean. And what is the ocean like? It's just beautiful, majestic, unswimmable, but just gorgeous. Hotel Maito is at the beginning of a 14-kilometer long end deserted beach. There is nothing there. Nothing. The only thing that there is a couple of hotels right in the town, and then as you head north along the beach, all you find, well, first, immediately after the hotels, you find a wonderful turtle camp where oh God, Celeste, I really want to take that comment, and I will come back to that in a second. But yeah, I'll come back to that in a second. Anyhow, Maito, it was wonderful. It was restful. The weather was great. I took a bunch of photos. I took a bunch of video. I did nothing yesterday. Nothing. Well, now that's not true. Yesterday we came back, but the day before, the middle day, Tuesday, was just a stay at the hotel by the pool. We went to turtle class. We took turtle class in English and Spanish. We released baby turtles and we watched them like walk slowly to the ocean in the sunset, and they made it, and it was just absolutely wonderful. Hotel Maito has enough internet to keep you connected for essentials, but they ration it. You have to keep going back to the front desk to get more internet. They give you a little code, you type it into your device, and then you're allowed to continue enjoying whatever internet you want to enjoy. And so it kept us in check. We wanted to continue finding out what was going on around the world, but it was a good thing to be pretty much disconnected. It was just exactly what I needed. I'm usually reluctant to go to the beach because we live on the beach. But this time around, I was amazed to find myself really wanting to be in a place where I could do nothing and be surrounded by very few people, to the point that it really felt like a luxurious trip. And I don't mean that in terms of how much it cost or it didn't cost. It was actually very economic to get there and enjoy the place. The simple fact of being able to spend time in a corner of the planet where the population density is so low that you can forget for 2.5 days of what's going on was absolutely luxurious. Luxurious. How was the turtle camp? Brian, it is something that everybody should see. I know the turtle camp well because I've done an article for the Vallarta Lifestyles a million years ago. So it was a great pleasure to reconnect with turtle camp director Israel Llamas. We had some nice conversations about how to help fund what's going on there. Why was the beach unswimmable, Bob? Because you are out in the open ocean. You're not protected by a bay, so the undertow is really bad. Swimming is really not recommended there because the waves are really high, and it is not safe. Is it easy to get to Maito? Asks Jorge. Yes, it is, but you have to get on a personal vehicle or a vehicle that you have hired to take you there. You cannot get there by public transportation. There is no such thing. And even though the road is not in great shape, it was easy to navigate slowly but easily. It took about 2 hours each way. We stopped at El Tuito on the way down to have breakfast, and on the way back, we just stopped to do a pit stop. So it was absolutely wonderful. And again, I have oh my God! And then the restaurant at the stop. I think the water people are here to try to sell me Ciel water. Anyhow, the restaurant at the hotel was delightful. It was so much better than I remember it. I mean, the last time I went was like 7 years ago, but it was absolutely wonderful. We ate well. We drank. Oh my God, we drank well. Oh yes, no, it was a great vacation. And again, I will put things together for you to enjoy and for you to take a look at in the next few days. We came back yesterday. I walked into my apartment at about 4:30 in the afternoon, grateful for everything that we did. And Luna was happy to see me, and I was happy to see her. And of course, I'm happy to see you this morning. I am very, very happy to be back and very, very eager to continue with what we've been doing, and I've enjoyed so much. So that's the end of this. We've made it. Yay! I will be looking at the rest of your comments. I will be putting together photos and videos to share with everybody. And we will continue providing comfort, hopefully, and trustworthy information, hopefully, to anyone that comes into our little cluster of optimists and creative locals. Between now and the next time that we get together, please stay kind, stay happy, stay healthy, and look around you and really, really let us all be grateful for what we have in whatever corner of the world we happen to be in. And let's hope that we can connect sometime in the near future to exchange more headlines, more coffee, more stories, and more smiles. Have a great day today.